farmers of the mining town of Linden are breathing easier as they move one step closer to realizing their dream of being able to produce an abundant supply of meat and vegetables, enough to not only meet the demands of the town, but be able to compete with produce that comes from the city and as far away as Berbice, produce that is sold at a price they currently find hard to compete with. Over the years, farmers have been loud in their complaints that because of issues with drainage and irrigation, cost of inputs, etc., and other debilitating factors, their cost of production is a disadvantage when they take their produce to the market and find that wholesalers from outside of Linden are able to sell at a price below what they need to sell at least break even. These were among the complaints shared with Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa and a team of senior officials from the ministry during his outreach to the community of West Watuka in December last year. Having been briefed earlier by the NDIA on the challenges facing farmers of West Watuka and Linden in general soon after assuming office, the Agriculture Minister disclosed to farmers that big things were in store for the farmers of Linden and that a contract would soon be inked that would see the construction of a conservancy in West Watuka that would resolve the hardships faced by farmers for irrigation water. He had then promised that this would happen early in the new year. On Tuesday, Minister Mustafa was back in the mining town, and his first stop was in West Watuka. Much to the delight of the farmers there, it was disclosed that there would be the signing of 3 contracts worth $174 million that would see the construction of the promised conservancy and all supporting infrastructure.
So we are here this morning to sign a contract or sign 3 contracts to the value of $174,695,640. 3 contracts. The consultancy, the construction of the dams, and the construction of the structures. Now, this conservancy will be very important for you, the farmers in West Watuka. We have had conservancies in various parts of the country. We have you all know the most popular one, the East Demerara Water Conservancy. We have the one in West Demerara. And now we are having this one here. We have other conservancies across the country in Region 5, in Essecubo, and different parts of the country, Region 6 and so. So Region 10 West Watuka will have their own conservancies. That means that you could plant and you could do farming the entire year because you'll have your own water. Drought will not affect you anymore after the construction of this conservancy.
In addition to promising the construction of the conservancy, Minister Mustafa had also ordered a number of emergency interventions for farmers of West Watuka, that is, the excavation of drainage and irrigation channels from the area earmarked for the establishment of the conservancy all the way to West Watuka North. Since then, some 4,000 rods of canals have been cleared and the work is ongoing. Minister Mustafa told those in attendance at the signing that projects such as the construction of the conservancy and government's response to cries for help from farmers across the country who were losing their livelihoods because of the rundown state of the DNI structures are all tangible demonstrations of government's commitment to helping farmers realize the full potential of agriculture wherever they are in Guyana. In addition, farmers can look forward to technical and other support from the extension arm of the various agencies of the Ministry of Agriculture.
In the agriculture sector last year, we would have had $18.5 million that was budgeted for the agriculture sector. In that sum, we had to do critical works across the country. Critical works across the country. As a result of that, as a result of our actions, over the last 5.5 months, 6 months, we are now seeing a renewed interest in the agriculture sector. We are seeing now more and more people want to get into the sector because they are seeing the proactiveness of the Ministry of Agriculture. They are seeing that we are more responsive to the needs of the farmers. We are more responsive to the needs of the stakeholders. And that is why I've been encouraging our agency heads that the extension officers, they have to be more accountable to the ministry. They have to be more responsive to the needs of the farmers. I just heard an issue where someone is saying that they have to pay for certain extension services. We have to investigate that. I will raise that with the heads. But the point is that the government of Guyana, through the Ministry of Agriculture, we have employed various workers, various officers, so that they can be more responsive to your needs. They have to come to your farm rather than you go to them. And we have to develop that kind of attitude now. Gone are the days when extension officers will sitting down in their office and wait for the farmers to come into the office. They have to go to the farms now. So what we have done, we have employed a chief extension officer, and that person is tasked with the responsibility, especially in Nari, to be to have to coordinate the activities of these extension officers so that he can ensure that these extension officers satisfy the needs of the farmers.
The Agriculture Minister stressed that government is committed to investing in the agriculture sector, even as Guyana begins earning from its oil resources.
As a new oil and gas country, we are now producing oil and gas. We will not neglect our agriculture sector because, for me, the most important sector in our country is the agriculture sector. Because oil and gas and other natural resources will be exhausted sometime down the line. But agriculture is here to stay. And we have seen over the years with countries that have neglected this sector, they had to go back now and rebuild it from scratch. And we will not make that mistake. We know for a fact that this sector here is the sector that will be responsible for job creation. This sector will be responsible for wealth, and this sector will be responsible for food security for us. And what we are doing now, this is only the beginning. We went, the president and the cabinet came to Linden. We have met a number of groups in Linden, and there were certain requests. For example, the new GMC is looking for a building to do agro-processing, to ensure that our farmers' produce are more value-added now. Gone are the days when you're doing subsistence farming and you're planting a little kitchen garden or get a little produce and go to the market. We are working with farmers to develop themselves. Because in the Caribbean now, there are opportunities that we can take up to fill the gap in the Caribbean, because the Caribbean is importing almost between 8 to 10 billion US dollar annually importing agriculture produce. And we can fill in that. So we have to ensure that we continue to support the farmers, which we'll be doing. We will continue to invest in the agriculture sector in our country. We will ensure that we be more responsive to the needs of the farmers. I know for a fact the president is very passionate when it comes to the agriculture sector. Last night he was on an interview on Globespan, and he made it very clear that the agriculture sector will have a lot of investment, and we'll continue to support the farmers.
In relation to the construction of the Conservancy, the minister urged the residents to be proactive and help to monitor the progress of the contractor, ensuring that the work is done in conformity with the Bill of Quantities and contract parameters, all of which would be made available to them. Speaking on behalf of the Regional Democratic Council of Region 10, the REO, Mr. Dwight John, welcomed the imminent start of the work in establishing the Conservancy in the town, positing that it will bring much relief to the hardships faced by farmers of West Watuka.
This initiative here today is one that is great for Region 10 and for the people of West Watuka. We must thank the government of Guyana, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Minister of Agriculture and his team for taking time and effort to come to Region 10 to make sure that the farmers here are looked after, and that the farming that they will be doing here and the help that they will be getting will make Region 10 more self-sufficient. We'll be able to do crops for our residents here. We won't have to have persons coming from other regions to sell us greens and vegetables and what's not. We will be able to supply our own market here in Region 10. So once again, thank you, PS Minister, Director General and team for bringing this relief to the farmers of West Watuka.
The signing ceremony at West Watuka was witnessed by hundreds of residents of the community, all of whom braved the inclement weather to be on hand for the occasion.
For the government of the day, we thank God for the minister, and everybody is represented here, the contractor, and we have requested this attention and this works a long time ago because we would have suffered in this farming area a lot. And we have made several requests, and the rescue is here to us again because we have been given canals through the same venture, and now the structure is here to start. So we are happy, and we say thanks to every department that is here, every farmer that is here. I know we welcome this initiative. So we say thanks, thanks, thanks once again.
Crowds of residents were also at all of the subsequent meetings at Kumaka and Spateland, all in Linden. Tuesday's visit by the Agriculture Minister to the mining town of Linden was his third trip there in just 2 months.